frontin' on. Trust me, I say this justly. I went from musty to musky, and y'all can't mush me.
I'm going to tell you guys a story about this shoe. When I was in high school, my best friend and I were looking for a job. It was going to be our first ever actual job. My parents had a business. I mean, I worked there for a little bit, but it was never like a legitimate check. So him and I looked everywhere that entire summer to get us a job. We looked at a couple of places, and we both went ahead and applied at this fast food restaurant, which was terrible. But you know, when I look back at it, it gave me a lot of attributes that I carry in my adult years. And him and I applied at this job, and then we waited for a couple of weeks. We thought we were not going to get hired, and when we even called them, the manager at the time was like, "Well, we just hired 2 guys," and we got really disappointed. And I remember calling him. I was like, "Man, damn, we're not going to get a job. We're not going to be able to, get some money on the side or anything." And what ended up happening, those 2 guys she mentioned was actually us. And it was first day of training, and I believe this was about a week after my birthday. And my best friend bought me this same exact shoe right here. I was huge on Converses. I like everything that's kind of old school, vintage, and the NBA used Converse as their original basketball shoes. And to be honest, I think when teams wear old school jerseys, they should wear Converses. I think that'd be kind of cool, the high tops. So my best friend bought that shoe for me. At the time, I used to collect a lot of all-star shoes, and this was my second pair he got me, so I was really super excited about it. And when they called me for training, I thought, training just consisted of just going there for a couple of hours, seeing the things that I need to be doing in the kitchen, and that's it. That was not the story. I was about to embark on something I never really thought about I was going to get myself involved in, but here we go. I went in with this same exact shoe, and when I left, this shoe turned yellow. But I had wonderful memories there. The interesting thing was, I was fortunate enough to never be around situations like that, around people like that. I mean, I'm not trying to judge the people that worked there, but everybody was at least a felon. And for my best friend and I, it was just a high school job just to kind of get us some pocket change. At the same time, we weren't doing very well financially either. So, him and I would go to work. I had a kitchen manager, named Big Black. Getting the picture here? And he just loved rapping. And he would always say, "Who are the 5 best rappers of all time? Big Black, Big Black, Big Black, Big Black, Big Black." And I gotta tell you, he was probably one of the most annoying people I ever met in my life. But I was not going to say anything because he was 6'4" and 255 pounds. Yeah. And I remember I went to training that day. I came back home with my shoes just entirely yellow. I wore those shoes the entire summer. That job, it taught me a lot. It really taught me which direction I want to go in life, what do I want to do, and at the same time, it taught me hard work. I got to meet a lot of people that I don't think I've crossed into before, but interesting people, getting to know their lives. But I came across this pair of shoe a couple of days ago, and I got it, and it just brought back really good memories, and came a far way from washing dishes at a kitchen, that's for sure. And at the time, I used to write a lot of screenplays, and that job actually gave me a lot of opportunity afterwards to have a lot of storylines when I got home to write stories in. So, as you guys have noticed, my brother's been on YouTube bashing my team, the Jets and the Nets. Well, here it is. First of all, when I made my video, I did not intentionally try to go at your teams whatsoever. I told you, I respect the Giants because they beat the Patriots, and I'm not a Yankee hater. But next time when you make a video, button up your shirt so I don't see your chest hair. It looks like a dead black cat right in the middle of it as you speak. Talking about that, I used to have a teacher in science class. Her name was Miss Deepens. And Miss Deepens had this hair that would go up and come down like this, like a claw. And we called her the Claw. And funny story about that is, I'm in a story mood time. The entire time, the way I got away with chemistry class, I stink at chemistry. Well, at the time I did. And when I stepped into that class, I told myself this. I said, I am never going to pass this class because this teacher just seems like she's going to be very hard. It really, really wasn't the subject. It was just Miss Deepens. So I had an idea. Everyone in that class knew me. They knew I was in America for a while, and I knew how to speak English. But I convinced myself the entire semester to tell her I can barely speak English. I don't know why she never looked at my records, see how long I've been in the country, or I don't know if teachers can do that, but I tell you, if it wasn't for that strategy, I would not get out of that class with a B+. I mean, it got to a point I used to get into class and I'd be like, oh, Miss Deepens, I really don't understand this and all this. And she would literally, even on test days, she would, give me a different type of exam, and so I could understand it better. And it helped out. I mean, that's the reason why I passed, So, and at the same time, I was wearing these shoes, which were yellow. But, just feel like telling you guys some stories, and, talking about my Jets here. I think one thing Rex Ryan does really, really well is he puts that confident mentality in the player. But I don't think he does a good job at interviewing players. Like, I watched this little segment on the Falcons and how the Falcons owner and GM, their biggest hiring process for players or drafting process is the interview process. Obviously it's all about physical development, but at the same time, the Falcons would look at someone in the interview process, and if you did really good interview process, that's a key player. And I don't think he does that. Reason why is I just don't think Geno Smith, I don't think he's the brightest guy. That's just my opinion. And at the same time, I don't think he's the most, I don't know, just listen to his interviews. You listen to his interviews, he just doesn't sound like the smartest cookie. So, and that being said, not big on mobile quarterbacks. I like my pocket quarterback. But here's the thing, I think the key for us is going to be our defense, and that's why we're going to go and go forward in the season. Like I said, I predicted a 9-7 record. I think, next video that I'm going to do, actually I don't know about 9-7, but next video I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about my predictions on the season and give you guys a prediction on my Jets. But as far as my brother's concerned, don't hate, appreciate.
In the hedges, welcome all of y'all to my dark recesses. This is where I keep the bars like bathtub edges. My ivories and my doves, my levers and my zesses. It takes half of your bubble bath to match the freshness. The belly of the beast.